I am Toymaker's debut and I'm extremely meticulous when it comes to screen accuracy. So when we decided to make the most popular smiling critters, CatNap, who scored a landslide victory through the extremely fair community polls, I knew we had to pay the Playtime Co factory a visit to borrow the exact CatNap 3D model for this video. Unlike the CatNap we made in the previous video, who is all cute and fan-made, this CatNap is the official one that you saw stalking you throughout the entire chapter 3, who is bigger, hungrier, and so much cuter, right? His model has been ripped by some overly enthusiastic fans on the internet, and this is as accurate as you can ask for. Here is a rare close-up look at his sculpture, which looks really menacing from this angle. With his sharp nails, and he's so skinny his spine is showing through at the back. Honestly, I never noticed that all his limbs and even his neck are kind of reattached with these black strings. So it's really cool we get to admire his design up close. One of his most iconic poses is when he started to stand up to pray in front of his self-made shrine of the prototype, and most definitely that is the one we are going to recreate in real life. With the animation bones readily available, we just need to load the animation into Blender, and that is how you puppet his lifeless body into the exact pose that you want. Then from there, we can just simply export him out into ZBrush to do some modifications. Now, if you don't already know, Poppy Playtime is notorious for their really, let's just say, efficient animations, where they only animate the parts you can see and basically leave the rest untouched because you are not supposed to see them anyway, unless you go out of bounds to do some extracurricular exploration. And when you first see CatNap at his shrine, you are supposed to be up top on the bridge staring at him from afar. Or you might not even notice him even when you are a seasoned gamer.
Oh hi, I could have very easily missed that.
So when I was checking out the model, I mean the 3D model in ZBrush, I noticed that his tail has merged with his leg and is also clipping through the floor. The more crazy thing is that his hands are visibly distorted. At first I thought something might have gone wrong with the ripping of the bones or something, but after revisiting the very scene, the palms are indeed distorted in-game as well. Which makes sense because you're not meant to be that close anyway, so I had to manually nudge the wrist back into place, and with some digital magic, we duplicated the hands over to the other side to save some time. One thing about game models is that they defy physics. Like the eyeballs are literally floating in space, so in order to make him 3D printable, I extended a pole from the base of the eyes straight into his skull so that they can anchor onto his brains. The other thing is that they are usually really low in resolution, so you will have to subdivide it further to make them smoother. However, that also means that some parts like the symbol on the zipper will lose its shape. But luckily, there's a way to combat it by isolating the respective edges and creasing them separately, as you can see from the extra lines on the edges. And then when we subdivide it, it's going to be smooth all around while keeping those edges sharp. The other part that lost some details was the ribcage, which I feel is the most defining part of this CatNap. So I decided to resculpt the ribs to make them more pronounced, and lastly I added some zipper details onto the existing one since it didn't have any. And then I realized that it's too big for our printer. We will have to separate him into parts by cutting his limbs off and adding some keys to reattach them later on. I also hollowed them, placed some support, and now we are ready to print with the Frozen Mighty 8K and Aqua Vanilla 8K resin, which is my favorite combination to print medium detailed prints because the printer has a pretty good sized build plate with an incredible 28 micron resolution that the 8K resin can capture. And after just 14 hours, the skeletal remains of a dismembered CatNap has been reproduced. And compared to our previous print, which had some errors on the base, we managed to fix them this time thanks to the advice we received in the official Frozen Facebook group. So make sure to join the group and don't be afraid to ask for help from this very helpful community. The thing is, now it's slightly harder to remove the print from the plate right now, so I might have to tune the settings a little in the future. But with some force and determination, we got him off the plate. So I prefer to remove the supports before curing because they're slightly softer fresh out of the printer, And while we do that, let's take a moment to thank our supporters on Ko-fi, Patreon and YouTube membership for their support. And if you also want to have early access to videos, make sure to join us and help us make more videos. Thank you so much. And now we can cure it in our Mega Cure S for around 10 minutes and carry on with our post-processing. The good thing is, we are going to try flocking for the first time, so we might not need to sand him too smooth or fill up any tiny holes like we did before. Still, we have to get rid of some of the protrusions, give CatNap a much needed manicure to trim his ingrown nails, provide some dental dip scaling for his mouth, and fill up the holes that we made when hollowing with some UV clay because we don't want any flocking to go through. But before we flock, I want to glue his hands together and then flock them at the same time. They do fit pretty well, but there's still some gaps in between, so I went in with some UV clay again, sanded them smooth, and I'm gonna let the glue cure for the night and come back tomorrow. Why is it so bright? Did I forget to switch the lights on? Is that CatNap? I don't remember leaving him in this position. Is he praying to my 100k play button? Oh crap! Morning guys. I had a pretty weird nightmare last night. Anyway, I want to paint some parts first because his palms and feet are not supposed to be furry, so let me clean the airbrush. For the blacks, I'll just use a spray can because I literally just cleaned the airbrush. Then for the feet and palms, I am airbrushing some lavender and we can get to masking. I'll be masking the eyes and mouth with some blue tack to protect the blacks, and then just some tapes for the hands. And it's time to flock. Apparently there's something called electrostatic flocking, which is basically magic to me, and I'm no magician, so we will be doing it the regular way. And spoiler alert, we kinda failed because I grossly underestimated the amount of flocking we need and I only bought 20 grams of the purple flock. Also, we didn't have the appropriate applicator to apply things evenly because I wasn't gonna pay 33 bucks for a couple of extended toilet roll without the toilet paper. So I tried following the tutorial by drilling my own cup into a makeshift flocker, which didn't work for me. Maybe because I didn't have enough flock in the first place, and it's barely coming out at all. I also mixed some paint into the Mod Podge before applying it, so maybe that also affected something, I don't know, but basically there's a lot of bald spots and I had to resort to shaking the cup like I'm a salt addict, adding more salt to my fries. Honestly, I was going to give up and postpone this video, but then it struck me that, you know, CatNap is clearly malnourished and it's not unrealistic that he's balding in some areas, right? So I just went ahead to cover as much as I could, and I was literally pouring the flock out of the cup in the end because I was running out, and I did run out. So I used some other colors for the tail, and then I gave every single part a thorough airbrushing to cover up the bald spots as much as I could. And I think it kinda worked. Like, the main areas looks great, and only the sides are slightly reflective, but it does give off some nice contrast, yeah? Especially when we start unmasking the hands and they slowly come together. The most satisfying part was unmasking the zipper and painting it chrome to make it look metallic, and the entire thing looks really cool. I painted the crescent gold, applied some nail polish to his toenails and fingernails, and for his Frankenstein-esque limbs, I had to remove the flocking on the strings with a toothpick and then paint them black one at a time to make them look more accurate. As for the head, we plucked the blue tack out carefully to reveal the really creepy eyes, and then the mouth, painted the nose black, darkened the inner ears, inserted the eyes and painted it white. Then we put on his brains and we are done. CatNap from Poppy Playtime flocked to bring the textures to a whole new level, and even though there are very visible flaws, I think it suits the character pretty okay, so I'm not going to throw him away. I had an incredible time making this. I hope you enjoyed the process as well, and if you did, press like to let the algorithm know, and I will see you next time.